enthusiastic speech about, okay. So it's the middle of a mosaic making session, and I'm delivering that speech of how interesting and fascinating the whole process of telling a story through one by one laying of tiles on the cement surface. So I'm asking one of the kids, as part of my routine, what's the story in your tile? And he's saying, whatever. How do you spell whatever? W-H-A, and then whatever. So at that time, my daughter was 6 years old, and I think it was influenced by my back and forthing with her, with how do you spell it, how do you say it. And although I was quite surprised by that kid's reaction, I wasn't speechless. And then mosaic making was pretty new to me too. And I didn't really realize what I was getting into when I got into that community project, community arts project, through the Neighborhood Matching Fund in Vancouver. And there's all those questions of what community art is. I was working with a community artist, Yoko Tomita, who works in the Vancouver East Side, and she actually told me about how it is to work with youth. Yoko, I'm bored, and this is child labor, and all those things. So I was really happy to join Yoko for that project because it was a great collaboration between the two of us. And for me, it was mostly an opportunity to engage in design for urban space. I'm an industrial designer, and this is what interests me. And through that process, I got to realize that there's something with community arts that is a treacherous circle of making a living for many of the artists who are doing that. And I could speak a whole another hour about it, but we only have those 6 minutes. So my first encounter with design for the large scale was back in Israel about a year before I came here in 2001. I had an exhibition of 8 2-meter-high lighting objects, and that was a great opportunity for me to step out of industrial design, the product things. And for the community art project, the Mosaic project, we got in touch with 2 professional mosaic artists, Bruce Walter and Liz Calvin, who have their mosaics spread all over the mainland, the lower mainland, and even further away from that. And they were really helpful for us to show us how it's being done and how to make it efficiently. But our challenges were not only with bored youth. Sometimes people say, oh, I don't know how to draw. So my response is, can you draw a straight line? Can you draw a circle? Well, that's a drawing for me. And even with the more skilled people, it was great to see their creative process throughout the project, starting with a simple drawing that seems very elaborate, and still the youth leader that did that, or started that, she occasionally asked me a question or two, and I tried to give her direction, and it was always great to see how a simple word here and there that I gave her resulted in even better designs, like the waves over there with the blue. That completely surprised me when she did that. And of course, when we dealt with most of the people trying to practice on the surface their designs and putting the tiles before we put them in cement, no matter how patient Yoko was with the boy who did that, as soon as he covered the design with the broken pieces, he lost interest. That was great for him. He didn't want to do anything else. And we needed some more detail. We needed the tiles to be in kind of better gaps between them. So I took his drawing home and I played with it in Photoshop a little bit, and I wasn't sure he would like it because I'm taking his design. And as soon as I showed it to him, he started engaging with a new sense of purpose. Where's the nippers? I need some more mortar here. And you see at the right, the final result. It's not only him that did it, but of course he started it and other people continued. So it was a great connection between people and collaboration. And over here, it was devastating for the woman here to realize that we're looking for more detail, that the red border and the yellow pieces there. For her, it was perfect, and we wanted more detail there. So just a few pieces before she was finished, she comes to me with her piece, and she says, "It's not beautiful." I'm thinking, whatever you manage to achieve is perfect. From there, you can only improve. So eventually she was happy with that. And then demolition of the park, you'll see later what park it is, and then the demolition of the old park started, and we had to deal with the architects, with the landscape architect and the contractors, and it was a fun collaboration, and there were always challenges on the way for communications here and there, but it was great to have that experience with them. And even at the planning stage, when we got the grant for the idea of installing mosaics at the spray park over there at the middle, we realized from the health authorities that you can't really put mosaics in the water. So I said, great, we'll put them all over the park. All the red circles are where we actually put the mosaics eventually, instead of a small section of the park over there in the middle. So in the cold spring of 2011, Yoko and I installed the mosaic pieces that were waiting in my basement throughout the winter. You can't really install in the cold, and you also have to let the concrete heal before you start installing the mosaics in them. And even this red circle is already starting to crack, so we need to do something about it. With the credit piece, we got in touch with a great stone carver who heard the word community and almost did it for free because of that. So community art for me is not about art, it's not about community, it's about our connection. And for this, I'd like to thank you for being here and making it happen. Thanks.